4 wrestling fans try to compare dick sizes, but pale in comparison to the thick majesty of Duane Gill. It's Survivor Series 98, Part 2, this week on Nothing Good. Hey. Ooh. Welcome back.
Yes.
Guys.
It's good to be back.
So long. It's good to be back.
Still here.
Still
30 whole seconds
gentlemen.
since last time we ended the last episode.
God, a lot's changed in those 30 seconds, guys.
So much. I don't know about you guys, but I've gone from 6 to midnight in that 30 seconds, getting ready for the other half of the show.
I went from midnight to about 4:30 back to 11:55.
Ooh.
I don't know what that means, but I lost my pants a long time ago.
let's fluff ourselves up and let's get
So
right
where
back
were
into
we?
it, right?
Where did we just leave? Where were we leaving off before? Where were we?
Well,
So we're on to a pretty big matchup here. Wrestlemania Rematch. Undertaker, the Dead Man, and Kane.
Duane Gill has already been eliminated.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
So what are you trying to say here? I mean, I think you're overselling it a little bit of Duane Gill.
No, I think I am. Maybe you're right. So I don't know about you, but theme songs, Undertaker's music, when I heard that for the first time in I'm not sure how many years,
yep.
I turned it up a little bit more because that, again, Volume 4, man, that jam, I feel like it was the first track on the album.
No, this one was the second to last track on Volume 3 because it was the metal theme. Yeah, it was the best one.
It wasn't on 4.
No, a different version of it appears on 4. It was the Klata Durakta with the weird, because it was the same song.
Can you do that one more time again?
With the druids.
Durakta,
Okay, so I thought you said, just making sure.
Yeah. But it was, absolutely my all-time favorite Undertaker theme.
You sound like you're casting a spell at the end of Willow.
Yeah.
I was going for Army of Darkness.
Mulligan! And once again, what a difference 8 months make, because at WrestleMania, months earlier, there was a totally different vibe between the two of them. You're right?
Oh my God.
Undertaker was the reluctant brother.
Are they together? Are they against each other? Nobody knew. They kept going back and forth.
What kind of magic the summer of '98 sprinkled on everybody in this show?
It's amazing, actually, how much changed in '98.
Yeah,
honestly.
He comes out
and honestly. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say the only thing that makes the Undertaker's badass theme is the only thing that could possibly happen to make you realize how badass Kane's original theme was too. Like the original Kane theme had a whole vibe, that big old blaring organ. Like you're just like, there's no doubt in your mind who that is, and it's like, oh,
right.
But yeah, but it's Kane versus the Undertaker, guys, in the fucking open, in like the mid card in 1998. Like,
yeah, Jesus. That's how big of a roster they had. It was a very paint my numbers match.
I think their entrances was the highlight of the match. Actually, they both looked like they were just big and slow, like compared to the other matches at this point. And and then the way it finishes, like Kane's supposed to be like this badass, indestructible guy, and like he can't kick out from fucking Paul Bear holding his foot, like for real.
Yeah. Things going on.
Suspend disbelief a little. You know?
I mean, come on. At least try.
So there's two notes I have about this match. It's not a very good match, right? I don't think it might compare. It's not a terrible match, but it's not compared to everything else on the show.
Yeah, it was a low light for me.
There's two things I want to note about it. One is that I am never, ever going to be used to blonde-haired Paul Bearer, like going through his midlife crisis. Right? Never, ever going to be used to it.
Sally Beauty Salon was out of his favorite hair dye color that week. So he just went with what he could get.
just like strawberry blonde Paul Bear. It really, really bothers me. But it was at this point in the show that I was like, knowing how old Regal was, and hearing about how old everybody was. The JR loved to throw those factoids out. I paused and I started Googling how old everybody was on this show. The Undertaker is 33 when this match is happening.
Wow.
Every single competitor on this show, every single competitor minus the Stooges and Sergeant Slaughter and Vince McMahon, every single one is younger than all of us are right now. Every single one of them. And it's like, because they're always going to be older than us, but it's like, even the fucking Undertaker is significantly
even the dead man. Early 30s. Wow.
Well, as we kind of mentioned earlier at the beginning of the broadcast, is that of the podcast, is just how much you have to take into consideration about the age of these guys. Having all of them, at such an athletic age. Mm-hmm. And all coming up at the same time, and all coming up together, and all pushing for the same thing. That's you can't undersell the value of that, what that meant for WWE. Stone Cold, all the Attitude Era and things like that. But you just had all these guys that could do things athletically that maybe you weren't getting on the WCW side with, some of the main event guys. Hogan, as good as he was and as big as he wasn't moving like this at this stage. Macho Man's not moving at that rate. These guys could also work and tell great matches, but you don't have them doing and moving as quickly and as strong as Rock is, and so you have to appreciate that you have so many of these guys that were in their prime like that.
Yeah, just talking about Hogan, to sell a leg drop as a finisher, it's just like The Rock selling people's elbow as a finisher. Like, that's a weak ass move. But the way they sell it, you buy it. The same way Hogan does the leg drop, and you buy it. But it's like, they know their limitations, like, to an extent. And like, if I can get the crowd over with like just this, like, I'll do that, because that's what makes people pop.
For sure.
Agree.
Yeah. 100%. Well, the match ends with a tombstone, and Undertaker advances on in the tournament. And based off of Paul Bearer's look, I give this match 1.5 midlife crisis out of 5.
Well, if I may say one more thing about this match, and Jones, Noah, watching wrestling with me all the years that you have. I believe, if my notes are correct here, this is the first match in the pay-per-view where there is a double clothesline in the middle of the ring. And you guys know my fucking love for the double clothesline, man.
Double clothesline.
I fucking love double clothesline. So, again, seeing that, it just brought me just like, when fucking...
There's nothing like a good old-fashioned double clothesline.
Just a double clothesline, man. It was just so good. And then I got a couple more in the pay-per-view too, and I'm like, oh, fucking love it.
They sprinkled them in, man. You got to cut that heat out right there. So our next match is our first match of the next round. We're in the quarterfinals officially, and it's Mick Foley, Mankind, versus Al Snow.
With head.
Can't forget. All about head.
Can't forget
3
that.
3 minutes and 55 seconds of those two guys on what they do best. Again, two capable performers, and the match wasn't bad.
Two old-time friends.
They were just doing their thing.
Long-time friends. And two complementary styles, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, and that's one of the things, as you say, that I thought about, is that, I really liked this match, for all that it was. And just some of the moves that they pull out, you can easily tell how they complement each other. There's a DDT that near right at the end of the match where I actually went, oh, when I kind of saw it, because, you don't see DDTs quite like that today. And they pulled it off so well and sold it so well because they're just so good working together.
Foley's double arm DDT was fun.
Yeah.
He hit a lot in this show. So you have to see it a bunch of times.
Yeah.
But I think the most interesting thing about this particular match is Noah mentioned it earlier that months prior, Mankind created Mr. Sacco.
Right.
And then Mr. Sacco went missing. And in this match, Mankind realizes that's wrapped around Head. And then he just fucking loses his shit.
Oh, yeah. He hulks up because he saw Mr. Hulk Mr. go around Head.
It's like, it was you all along, Al Snow. God damn it.
There was a part of me that really wanted Mick Foley to wrestle the Head for about a minute of this match.
He's trying to give it the mandible. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking about. I wanted him to like just get a headlock on it. I wanted him to drop it. I wanted a small body slam. Maybe a DDT.
Give it an elbow drop.
Just while Al Snow's laying there, he just works like a 30-second, match with the Head because the Head had Sacco.
So I'm trying not to get off topic, which is I'm trying very hard. But now that we're talking about Head and wrestling Head, I don't know if you remember this, but sometime in the Attitude Era, there was a tag team match between Al Snow partnering with Head versus Jerry Lawler and Brian Christopher. And the entire storyline of this match, besides the fact that Al has mental illness and they're the heels, they're giving him a hard time, was that they were obviously, if you could, you try to pin the mannequin Head, but the whole point of wrestling is that you have to pin the shoulders.
It's got to be the shoulders down, yeah.
Yeah, and when you're just the head, you can't. So the big
doesn't quite work.
Of the match was they throw Al out, and then Jerry Lawler takes a bottle of Head and Shoulders and puts the head on there.
I remember that.
Mwah. That's the shit right there. But yeah, I give this match, because of their history and what they did in this match in the short 3 minutes, I gave it 2 unnecessary concussions out of 5.
So how old was Mick Foley in this year?
Mick Foley's 34.
God damn it, really?
How about Mick Foley too? It threw me the fuck off that, there was no beard under the mask. I'm so used to Mick Foley with a beard, and seeing him work with the mask, even though just completely
just chafing against his chin the whole time.
That's got to be uncomfortable.
He's just trying to make Daddy Vince proud.
Yep. It's such a good. It's so good. How many people went into this match as one thing, and I'll mention this in main event, but come out of it looking completely different, right?
That's exactly right. It was master storytelling by the fucking creative team. Done. Like, to tee it all up, and for us as fans to not expect it until it happened, and like, oh shit, this was happening all along. Like, how did we get to this point?
How did we let it get this far?
Damn those heels.
So now we got The Rock's first real match of the night.
Yep.
He's going to fight
Ken Shamrock.
The man who's like matched with the ability to look like a caged animal at any given time.
Second
He's just that look in his eye. Yes. Again, 8 months, man. That's all it is. Which in wrestling, especially then, was a long time. 8 minutes and 20 seconds. Good match. Solid match. Amazing finish. I love that finish. I love it then. I still love it now.
All-time amazing finish. It's one of those things that I honestly, sincerely believe that with anybody else, that finish, it botches and it falls completely awry. But with a pro like Boss Man throwing the nightstick and the fucking amazing The Rock catching that nightstick.
Oh yeah, he's like this one-handed, like
live on pay-per-view.
Yeah.
That thing is flying too, and he snatches it out of the air and fucking, it's perfect. And then when that little thing when he throws the nightstick after he hits it, it gives the Boss Man that little shit.
Yeah, it's just
You do, even with those two in there, you do that 10 more times, maybe you hit it a couple, but it was perfect. It was perfect.
Yeah, you're not doing that finish 10 out of 10. You maybe get that.
You get one shot at
yeah. You either get it right or you botch the shit out of it. And in hindsight, like when you see how everything finishes, you're like, did he really throw it to him? like did he really intercept it? Like fucking Immaculate Conception. Like there it is.
It's perfect. Oh my God.
The breadcrumbs going into this that we don't know, that we're not paying attention to because we don't know what the payoff is. But looking back at it, like you said, I mean, he sells it like he's trying to throw it to Shamrock, but did he actually?
Oh, he was 100%
exactly
right, man. 100%.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
It's how good they were to make it look like how they're supposed to make it look like. The Rock intercepts this thing in the air. It was just masterful stuff. I think the match was good. It wasn't as good as I watched WrestleMania 14 just to see, like, okay, is it just my opinion or is this match not their best outing? But it wasn't. But goddamn, everything else that happens in the match, besides the fact that this is the first people's elbow we get all night, is in this match.
Yeah, and man, was that move the fuck over? That move was so over. It was
that crowd popped so hard.
They were waiting so long for that one move.
But everything,
stupid fucking elbow drop.
Yeah,
every single thing paled in comparison to the sweet ass 5 seconds of the finish. The Rock catching that shit and nailing him.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
There's a point that Jim Ross says, and I laughed. I belly laughed because it's ridiculous of like where we ended up, because you approach this as if this is real life and this is really happening, right?
Yeah.
So he says, he's like, The Rock, this young man flew his parents in from Miami, Florida for this big night. And I'm thinking to myself, The Rock flew his parents in to watch him turn motherfucking heel and sell out.
Right?
What a piece of shit.
Yeah. Remember at the end when he calls everyone in the arena trailer trash? Like, his parents are there.
His parents.
So fucking heels, man.
They're sitting right next to the chick who says, DX, if you suck mine, I'll suck yours, with their sign out there. Yeah.
I wrote some amazing signs down that I want to talk about here.
Holy crap.
We weren't quite at peak Attitude Era signs, but people realized at this point that they could write whatever they wanted on a poster board, and not only were they not going to get in trouble, but Vince would shoot it. Like,
yeah, especially for a pay-per-view. People are paying for that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're going to get views on Sunday and reviews on Tuesday. Like, guaranteed.
You know, not saying that this ever has happened or ever has not happened at a wrestling show, but when you see certain signs, you think to yourself, did somebody really make that, or did they get that handed to them when they walked in?
Planted. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to mention that when we get to the tag team match.
But I don't get the feeling when you open the show and they do the crowd shot when all the pyrotechnics and everything are going off and you see everybody going crazy, that how many of those signs could have been plants. I don't think it was. I think at that point in the Attitude Era, that's just how it was. Yeah. That's how it was. So you had
it was late 90s. There was nothing off limits.
No. So you had so many people being really creative, adding. You know, there's the New Age Outlaws, where they could do the whole fucking New Age Outlaws intro, dudes in the stands and rows have the whole.
It's like 8 sections across, like
and
someone got that whole
word for word
printer paper,
and,
you know, like they used to. You have to rip the shit off, right?
And you could see them in the ring, like, holy shit! Did you see that banner?
Yeah, you could see where Billy Gunn at the end of the paper, at the end of their match, he looks up and sees, and goes, "Holy shit! Look at that!" Right?
Yeah.
One last thing I just want to point out here about the boss man, you know, baton toss hurled around the world. There are 22,000 people in that arena. That pay-per-view had a 400,000 person buy rate. All right. I had to watch this several times to try to figure out how the referee did not catch a glimpse of the fucking toss.
Right. It was like right over his head, like right here.
And also, and not only that, but after Rock hit it, he threw it back.
Yeah, the ref 100% saw that
on the other side of the ref, right? And I'm like, how the fuck did he not catch any of this? But you know, at least the toss in Boss Man was at least, I think, low enough where he could have possibly sold that. But you know, I think that also kind of adds to what happened there too, is, you know, how they did try to pull that without the ref kind of seeing it, and how did the ref not catch any of it. But it's still a great part of the finish of the match.
Reed.
One thing about, and we can move on to the next match. Not that there's much to say about it, but it really speaks.
I got something to say about it.
Yeah, it really speaks to like how, because listen, there are some listeners that we have. Some of our audience don't watch wrestling, never watch wrestling, and they're probably not going to listen to this episode. But you have to really appreciate and have a respect for this is live fire, man. This is happening.
Live.
You cannot. I mean, yeah, you can fuck it up, and we'll make it work. Fuck it. If you drop it, you drop it.
But there's a slim margin of error right there. Like you only get one shot at it.
Yeah, there's one take. These men and women get one take, and they do some pretty incredible shit. And something as simple as throwing a baton, however many feet up in the air, and that guy catches it while making it look good when he does it.
He sells the shit out of it.
Having been the precise place where he needed to be, it was just so good. It was just, I appreciate the level of attention and skill and professionalism that these guys show. So that's all.
Incredible.
Last thing here about this, you guys mentioned Lawler talking about The Rock flying his parents into this match and everything, right? And Lawler, such a great heel commentator, right? Just so on the heel side of things and loving everything that the bad guys are doing, all for Mr. McMahon, right? Again, we should have known. We should have started to pick up with Lawler bragging about things The Rock was doing, what was potentially on the horizon, right? Another one of those little bits that they're starting to kind of build into the story.
Yeah, there's planting seeds.
The plants are everywhere with this pay-per-view, which I think is so great.
So good. Speaking of, I was going to make the old joke, you plant the seed, you watch the plant grow up, and then you fuck the plant, right? Well, speaking of wanting to fuck
who does that?
Plants, I don't know. Gardening is weird, and it's not for me, but hey, it's 2021 if that's your thing. But up next is Sable versus WWF Women's Champion, Miss Jacqueline.
So this match is, interestingly enough, 3 minutes and 14 seconds. And I will tell you what, I don't have many notes written here, but I have written three things really that are important.
Two very important things.
How awful is Jackie's music number one?
Not great. Not great.
Terrible. It was terrible.
I don't think there was an actual guitar playing. I think someone just grabbed the microphone and they're like, wow, 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 wow,
wow. Two, Jackie is 100% carrying this match, as she did with a lot of the ladies that were less experienced than her. And as she used the heel, she was calling the match anyhow, but she made Sable look fucking great. And more importantly, I think this is the night that we watched Mark Mero's career end.
It was.
Because she fucking powerbombed his ass on the outside.
Yep.
Legitimately in front of millions of people around the world.
It would stagger along until he gets powerbombed as the finish by his wife, soon to be ex.
At WrestleMania.
And that's right. When Mark Mero's career ends. It's funny how we've done 4 wrestling shows and Mark Mero is on.
Yeah. How about that?
That's a good take rate for him.
New rule, next show, whatever the fuck it is, no Mark Mero, please.
No Mark Mero? We got to pick a show without him on it? That might be difficult.
Can we do an entire show on Mark Mero?
No. Well, you know what? You can host your own goddamn podcast. Have a fucking Mark Mero. What do you want?
Listen, if we reach out to his representatives and promise him a bag of spicy nacho Doritos, I think we could land him.
It's very possible.
Oh my God.
Possible. We get Mark Mero and Robin Chew together on a podcast.
I'm going to reach out to Robin Chew. I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, we're going to
just all nipples.
I want to see him just to see if I can repair that bridge between he and Jackie. Just to see if what was once broken can be once again.
So you can call him Dad.
Yeah, Jackie's 4th husband. It's Luke.
No.
I don't call him Robin. I call him Luke Gang the whole time. Hey, what's up, Luke Gang? Merry Christmas.
What's up, Luke Gang?
You guys go to Chili's tonight? Cool.
Yeah. So the notes that I had for this match in particular, it was not a great match. I mean, Jacqueline carried the match most of the time, aside from Sable getting the Sable bomb at the end. But you could tell it was peak Attitude Era because 50% of the entire match was just focused on her ass in those booty shorts. And that's where the camera moved. And that's like, it's like, yep, this is the era that we live in right now.
This is definitely 1998.
Yeah, for sure.
So I have notes about the following the match is if I literally was just taking notes and realized that I transcribed the entire match, and I'm not going to read it here because we've covered it. The only two important things are both times Sable powerbomb somebody. But I think it is, just to be serious for a second, as much as I can, is that this is a huge moment in WWF history at the time because Sable becomes WWF champion.
Yep.
WWF Women's Champion, and this starts the Sable Everywhere era. This builds up not only to her working WrestleMania, but this leads to the hand paint on the titties.
Yeah,
start all of the tittiness, like the string bikini. Every single thing builds up to this.
All of the tittiness.
And then that idea is that you have to be a sex object. You have to have big tits that we can eventually sell a magazine about. Would make it be like for the next 3 years. You're going to be the top female star? Can we see your tits? No, then fuck off. But if yes, then my God, here's a rocket. You're going to the moon.
But if you look at the way she executes the Sable bomb, if Diesel gave somebody a power bomb the same way, but pinned them the same way, like fucking missionary style, like it'd be super gay. But when she does it, it's not so bad.
Fun,
100%.
Fun fact, Jeff.
Which is like key attitude era.
So fun fact, Jeff. That's actually how Kevin Nash got the role of Super Shredder in Ninja Turtles.
That's how he got the nickname Diesel.
That's how it all worked out. So
he puts the jack in Jackknife.
He gave it to Leonardo first because he's the cook.
Fucking Leonardo wants to watch him do it to everybody else. That's the whole point. I give this match.
He's gonna be okay. Get him some food. He'll be okay.
I like what? Wait a minute. These have just been long-standing in the damn podcast. It's that joke.
I'm glad I could bring it back. On my first show back, I bring it back. Oh, you're fucking welcome.
Bring some food.
oh my God.
Okay, Leo, how long have you been sitting there watching me, man? But I give this match 0.75 useless Mark Marrows out of pot. It would have gotten less, but as Jeff mentioned, Sable did look really good in those shorts, and Miss Jackie got a set of big old titties on.
Listen, he ain't lying.
The one thing I'll mention about the only thing I'll really mention about this match, and I'm not saying this to really be funny, but it was the end of it.
Yeah.
Is that
as soon as it was over, I finished when she finished.
I mean that's the dream, isn't it?
Except it was 3 minutes. That's it. That's a lot for you.
That's 2.5 minutes more than I'm probably used to. And
we officially lost Noah. He's gone.
He's gone.
After those 3 minutes, I just wish I got the pop that Sable did from the crowd.
Oh my God! Usually got a pop.
Usually it's just the sound of the ceiling fan going and some tears. But my point is that the crowd was into it.
Oh yeah.
They popped when she won, regardless of how good or bad the match was, and I think that's important for everything that came after it. You know, if you don't have Jacqueline and Sable, you don't get to Trish and Lita, and then you don't get to Charlotte and Sasha and Becky and Bayley and everybody else. So it starts to show that there is an audience for it if you give it some time. So that's why I mean with the end is that there was a nice pop for her to win, and it just shows that you can market it with the women wrestlers too if you really push it.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But how interesting is it that in this time, when we go from, and speaking of people being super over, that we go from Sable versus Jackie in a 3-minute match to fucking Steve Austin versus Mick Foley.
That's
like immediately fucking after, in the middle of the goddamn show. And I this is one of the 2 huge storyline driven matches in the whole thing.
Yeah, and this is my favorite match of the entire card. Yeah, it was so good.
My second,
start to finish, it was so good.
Yeah, Jeff, this was my notes on this. This is my second favorite match, and it is a close second to the final match of the night between Rock and Mick. And that kind of brings me to just Mick Foley in this pay-per-view, man. Just the work that he put in. And we'll talk about this again as we kind of go through. But yeah, I agree with you, Jeff. As you guys know, I'm a stone cold fucking Mark all the way, and I always will be.
Right.
Just getting to relive the glory of the glass breaking and just what that means for a match. It was so fucking good. I loved watching Stone Cold and Mick Foley and all his iterations work. I just always thought they had good chemistry with each other.
Awesome.
And they always had good matches, and this is no different.
Dude, it was incredible. Because you got to separate this match into 2 ways. You have one, the fact that it's those 2 working against each other and talking about styles that complement. They always have. They always will. Foley bumps like nobody's ever bumped. Austin fires up like nobody fires up. And when Foley wants to slow the match down and get the heat, it's perfect. And it's right now it's Vince McMahon's chosen guy at this point in the pay-per-view against the most over wrestler in the world.
That's the big thing. It's Vince's guy versus the only guy that Vince hates more than any other guy.
So it's going to have all the heat. But then they take what is a perfectly awesome match, and then they weave the culmination of so many of these storylines absolutely happen into it, just proving that all of the storytelling in this match just fucking pings. This pay-per-view pings. In a million different ways. So the specific note that I wanted to say, right, is that you get at this point in the show, we start to hit a rhythm with these matches, right? They start hot, and then eventually this is going to get into the crowd, right? All the other tournament matches, literally every other tournament match after this, follows that same blueprint, and the people are like fucking here for it. They go to all 4 different sections of the crowd in the corner, and people are like, oh, maybe they'll come over here by me, and they do. They do.
They work the ring for sure.
Yeah.
But what I love about and it's kind of easy to get lost, is the fact that Foley bails after Austin just starts whooping on him. He
doesn't bail. He like sprints away. It's amazing.
He's like, I'm gone.
He's like, fuck this shit, I'm out. He was like X-Pac, except he wasn't hurt. He just wanted to get the fuck out of there.
And I have it in my notes that this is the last heel thing that Foley will do, is that in the finish of this match for the rest of his career. And so it's
true.
At this show.
That is true.
On this, and then,
I never looked at it like that.
No, and then the finish of this match are the last 2 heel things you ever do, because it fucking works so good. But I mean, just go on it, as we got a shit awesome brawl, good back and forth. Austin hits the stunner on the chair. First of all, before the DDT for the super near fall that everyone bid on. And the 3 counts only stopped by Vince McMahon, who's miraculously he is healed. And hops out to stop the ref, and he decks the ref for his trouble. Foley goes back to work. Here's a note, and has anyone noticed that at this point, when Foley starts firing back up on Austin, that his pants fall down?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And
everyone noticed except for him.
Yes, and he gets out of those pants mid. He whips Austin, steps out of the pants, catches him with a clothesline. But he goes for a mandible claw. Austin stops him, low blows him, hits a stunner, and who comes sprinting down to the ring?
Shane O'Mac.
It's a night of surprises, man. Night of surprises.
Well, and let's set the TV evangelical moment of the brutalized, borderline paralyzed, feeble Vince McMahon in the Professor Xavier wheelchair.
His miraculous recovery.
Bravely coming down to the ring to make sure things go the right way. And then somehow, with divine wrestling intervention, is able to miraculously use his legs to pull out the first referee of the match.
Well, he had the power of all three of Sergeant Slaughter's chins to fucking help him.
It's true. Shit.
You know. So,
because that's the only thing Sergeant Slaughter did the entire time, was just fucking stand around.
But it's
at least Patterson and Briscoe like made a show of it.
just love watching Vinnie Mac go full Vinnie Mac during that point of the match.
But to add into that, not only does this show have everything that it has with Foley and The Rock and Austin, Undertaker and Kane and full Vinnie Mac, but when Shane McMahon slides in the ring and goes one,
you think he's going to be the big hero?
Big two,
I did when I was a kid. I remember.
Oh, I remember that. And I remember that fucking look on Austin's eyes when he got the fingers and he's like, you cocksucker motherfucker. Like, that's it.
It's easy to forget that right here at that moment, Shane O'Mac is born.
Yeah.
It did not exist in that way before then. And all the fucking money Shane McMahon has spent, all the memorable moments started from right here. Not counting the fucking free on that
moment.
As you say, Jim,
and Austin sold it.
Go ahead, sorry.
The greatest. Go on.
I was going to say, as you always say, Jones, the greatest non-wrestler of all time.
Oh,
easy.
Fuck it. Yeah. Jesus. Yeah.
Easy.
And Austin sold it so well.
He just couldn't believe it.
You say, okay, he could just get up and start beating the hell out of him. No. The shock was so significant. Like, Stone Cold didn't know what the fuck to do. He's just like looking around. Like, what? Are you for real?
Yeah, and the funny thing about that reaction, so like his initial reaction like completely sold it. And then Shane's laughing, and then Austin gets up, and then Shane stops laughing, and he like starts slowly backing like towards the corner, like, should I get out? And then he goes through the rope, and then he starts laughing again, and Austin's like still trying to figure out and process what's happening.
Yeah.
And the way they fucking sold it, it's just so good.
So good. But you also got to think kayfabe is that Austin can't touch him because he's the referee. And Austin, they're literally stacked the deck that he can't punch this guy in the face because at that point, the bell's
he's out.
Fucking over. And and they end up, and in pro wrestling, and I won't even fucking give Vince McMahon the hard time because this happens in every wrestling. And here's the thing, this amazing match and this amazing story and all of these performances and the big finish is a shitty chair shot by Briscoe.
That is the worst chair shot I've ever seen.
I mean, here. I mean, you understand?
Like it's like
there's a shooter swinging the chair, against your top star with a history of neck problems. You're not going to brain him, but you kind of wish you would have, right? Because it would have looked great.
Yeah. You got to sell it a little more than you did.
But it's enough to keep Austin down for the 3, man. And Austin's out for the big shocker of the night.
Yeah,
Austin's out of the
and then the McMahon camp leaves,
runs,
all
the possible ass.
Austin commits grand theft auto, assaults a guy, carjacks him,
2 felonies,
GTA,
smashes a guy against the car next to him, and then fucking steals his fucking blue blazer and barrels out of the fucking arena to chase after the limo.
Yeah. First of all, that guy, when he gets pulled out of that car, he's like, this is my one chance. And so when Austin pulls him, homie takes a fucking pinball machine bump off the other side.
And I'm like, if that guy was in that blazer, like, why did Austin have to start it when he got in there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Guy's just in there, probably watching
minor details.
Sable match.
Yeah.
Yep. But, oh, man.
Special shout out to just good old JR, Jim Ross, during this match. I mean, in as great JR as you get in this match, just the way he paints the picture. You know, it's not a chair shot to the back it's a chair shot to his spine. You know, just the way he emphasizes things and how he draws this out. You know, you get something with him and Lawler at this time, with the two of them. That is just they are as iconic with the Attitude Era as the Attitude Era itself, because they narrated it for us, right? They told us that story.
They sold it for us.
They sold it
the whole time, because they were feeding us the story and the bits that we were trying to fill in the gaps. They were filling it in for us. But that's their fucking job.
But you believed them as they sold it. You know, and again, there are some good commentators today in various wrestling iterations, but they don't sell you the story. Mm-hmm. They're not a part of the story quite like Ross and Lawler were during this time. And just love how they in this match, how great they were too at selling this whole thing.
100%. I would welcome somebody being better than Jim Ross at commentary.
It's not going to fucking happen.
but until then, he's the best. Just find out what it is. But Foley advances through some serious fuckery, legendary fuckery. I give this match 3.5 shitty Briscoe chair shots out of 5.
Such a bad chair shot. It's so bad.
It's the only blemish on this match.
And like it was almost like Briscoe was trying to figure out what he needed to do, and Austin's just like sort of stalling, like half a step behind, and then he hits him with it, and then he's like, "All right, I guess this is it. I'll just fucking lay here."
Yeah. Like, shit, my night's over.
So now we move to The Rock and The Undertaker. You know, I watched this match. It was fine, but I maintain that The Rock and The Undertaker don't have the best chemistry in the world.
They don't. No, and you could feel it when you watch it back. Like at the time, I was like, "Oh, Rock and Undertaker, like that's awesome. That's a big draw." And like watching it back, I'm like, "This is like an average at best match." Like
it's
okay. Like they just don't play off each other well. And I don't think they ever have.
No, I
not
agree
really.
Not in the long form pay-per-view match that we kind of get. It's great on like a Raw segment where two guys just banging across, just throwing easy, perfect, awesome.
Yeah, in and out, short form,
in and out, big brawl, schmoz, and the Raw, super cool because all it's just two guys throwing punches. But as soon as you're like, all right, tell me a story and work a match, they just have two different styles. And Undertaker in this era, he had hits that I'm going to work like world-class style wrestling, legendary epic wrestling because I'm bored, like he would about 6-7 years after this, right? When he would get in there with everybody. Here, everything's slow. And he prods down, and The Rock is literally electricity personified. So he's trying to light it up, but...
Yeah, he throws quick bunches, and Undertaker's just slow to move around the ring.
Big hoss fighting.
That's his style.
Yep.
But again, wasn't a terrible match. Just wasn't anything special considering the talent in the ring.
Yeah, and considering how far it was along in the tournament in the grand scheme of things, like I expected more, but
you know, I know the next match on the card is the match designed to break things up before you get to the final match. It's designed to give Rock and Mick a chance to kind of rest before they go into that match, because that last match goes real hard. But you're talking about just like Undertaker's pace. It's almost with both of his matches. I don't want to sit there and say he's going through the motions or anything, but there's almost a small element to that. It's like, well, I know the role that I'm playing in this. I know where this storyline's going. I'm not really playing a part in this storyline. It's not about me. So I'm just going to kind of play my part, do what I have to do, and we'll kind of get The Rock through to the next match. But the pacing is strange because, you see where he works with Shawn Michaels and some other guys that move it about.
Oh yeah, it's completely different.
Where it is.
Yeah, I think in both matches he had this particular night, like he just looked big and slow.
But if you have
like his heart wasn't in it. It didn't feel like his heart was in it.
But if you
not that he has one because he's the dead man, but
yeah. But if you have a Undertaker in this pay-per-view, that the storyline's not really about him per se. If he's going full, if he's going hard, he's working quick and really working in matches. Do you really want him doing that? Because does that then start to take away from what the Undertaker, what the Rock has to do?
Oh no.
So yeah, I mean, it's all part of a bigger picture, but I mean, if you look at the way he wrestles at WrestleMania,
well, yeah,
like that's what you expect, and that's not what you get at this one.
This is the second thing, and it's just the further the feud with Kane. Yeah. I ultimately give this match 1.5 jabronis out of 5, just because of who's in it. It's nothing special. I'm gonna put a pause in this. I heard a bang upstairs. I want to make sure my toddler didn't fall out of bed. Just give me a minute.
You do your thing. That's really important. Go do that.
Yeah.
Technology, man.
I know.
It's a hell of a thing.
This is just a thing we're doing on a Friday night.
It's not exactly the same, but it's effective.
Yeah.
Right. What's up,
Jones? Anything changing for Sunday?
Ghostbusters.
Well, no. I mean, I got Daphne's party, man. I'm gonna go and spend.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there.
Spend some time, and then I got my usual Sunday. If I can get, no, probably not.
I like how he built your hopes up for like 2 seconds, and then he's like, "Fuck you, Dave." No.
I'm just like, realistically, like the amount of stuff that I normally do on Sundays, it's like not an all day thing for my chores and just aquarium stuff and maintenance and things. I just kind of go through my motions. So
yeah,
I'm gonna have to do that after her party. So
yeah.
Now I'm just saying, if this was like fucking Spider-Man, I'd be like, well, fuck it, I'll do it next week. But it's fucking Ghostbusters. It's not a big deal.
That'll probably be the last one of these that I do. Will be Spider-Man. I'd like to do Spider-Man and get the group together for that one for sure.
That's only 3 weeks away.
I know.
Oh wait, that's right. Christmas is coming. That's right. Christmas is coming.
Yeah,
real quick.
That movie's gonna be so fucking good.
Alice says hello.
Hi, Allie.
Hello.
Hello, Miss.
Hi, Allie.
It was not my father
for like the last 2 hours. Fucking cat.
I know the cat's there. She's been on your lap.
Yeah.
Down.
Leave it to Jones to be the one who's just had the pussy hanging around the house. It's always jumping in the frame.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. Okay, so I just want to make a note about the next segment here.
Yeah.
As we get going on. I know we really haven't been talking about any of the mediocre interviews. We cut to Mankind, who hits our first "if you smell what the sock is cooking" that we'll ever get in history. But right after that, he's being interviewed by Michael Cole, who then deadpans to the camera, like, and it's at that moment I think I started to hate Michael Cole, like real bad. And we go from that what the fuck moment to the next what the fuck moment, which is the triple threat tag team match.
Oh boy. So that happened. That was a thing.
The best part about that match was the same thing we get in every single match with the New Age Outlaws is the fucking intro. It was all downhill from there.
Mm-hmm.
If ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages,
the Generation X proudly brings to you its WWF Tag Team Champions of the
World,
the Road Dogg Jesse James, the Badass Billy Gunn, the New Age Outlaws.
There you go, man.
And then Billy Gunn's got 4 fucking lines after that, and he still always manages to stammer through them.
First wrestling T-shirt I ever bought, New Age Outlaws.
There you go. The 69 on the back.
No, it was just I think I still have it here somewhere. No, it was just
the kids were wearing that. Think about that for a second.
Right. We had no idea. So naive. Kids were so naive.
Oh no, it was was a black New Age Outlaws T-shirt with red and white letters, and it just said on the front, "Oh, you didn't know," and on the back, it just, "Your ass better call somebody." Like that just was the shirt. I loved that their intro.
Dave was wearing that shirt when he was wearing the same shorts that Billy Gunn was wearing at this pay-per-view with the fucking cutouts on his ass of like the lip shape.
Listen, man, if there's ever a time in my life that I was going to be wearing spandex boxing short or wrestling shorts with lip cutouts on my ass cheeks, it's going to be when I'm 15 years old, because my ass, I had hockey player ass at that stage in my life, so my ass was fucking huge. So that's the time to do it. It's not now where it's just saggy and droopy and just sad.
You know what was saggy and droopy and sad? This fucking match.
Yeah.
Brutal.
It was like the rules were so weird that like the three guys had to be in at the same time, and I think the tag teams, like, they weren't really coordinated in like how the format was, and it just looked sloppy from start to finish.
Yeah, it was just a mess.
It was an absolute mess, because you got to think about the basic, and I want to try not to talk about this match too long because it's not worthy of our time. But the basic premise between triple threat matches in wrestling is that you have two guys wrestle, one guy is outside the ring selling the whole time, or he's a heel and he's been a chicken shit. But when the match is just starting and no one has anywhere to go, well then how do you tell a story with that? And this is the rare triple threat occasion where you have a babyface tag team in the New Age Outlaws, a tweener tag team in the Headbangers, and a heel tag team in the Nation of Domination. But that being said, there are a few positives to it that I think, first of all, goddamn, were the Outlaws over.
Yep.
Two, I dearly love that era of the D'Lo and Mark Henry Nation theme.
Yeah,
like, I love the fucking song.
Watching that back, like, Mark Henry was fucking useless that whole match. Like, he did like two moves at the end, but like
he really was useless.
D'Lo was fucking putting in work. Like, that was the highlight of the match, was fucking D'Lo. Even though he was wearing that stupid like sparkly like vest pads, whatever the fuck he was wearing, but he was putting in work and he was getting over.
Yeah, because the Outlaws came out and everyone was completely into it. Then the Headbangers came out to the most non-reaction. They got a less reaction than
they were useless in that entire fucking match.
A tag team that time forgot.
And then the Nation theme hits and the crowd starts booing. Because you also got to think, not only is D'Lo a workhorse and is he putting everything in, but they had just turned on The Rock less than 2 months ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, they're freshly on their own. So, I mean, I don't know why they were saving a one-on-one between D'Lo and Mark Henry and the Outlaws. It should have been this match. It would have been more cohesive.
Yeah.
But eventually, the super fucked finish happens, right? I mean, eventually, Billy Gunn hits his finish. It doesn't get anything. Mark Henry just decides to cover on the rest. Like, that's not the fucking finish. It doesn't count. And then Billy Gunn hits a pile driver and just gets the fuck out of there. And you could tell he's visibly pissed at the end of this match.
Then it shows everyone his ass and his thong.
He does, for some strange
It's good
reason.
times.
Yeah. You have I think you still have a pretty green Mark Henry, right?
Super green.
Where you got you got him working with D'Lo. Obviously, you've got everything going on with the Nation and the mentorship that he had with oh my god, why am I drawing a blank right now? Fuck, help me out here, guys.
What's the leader of the Nation?
Yeah,
Farouk was long gone.
Yeah, but I mean, you had Farouk with them.
You did for a while
when Mark Henry was coming in.
And the Godfather had just become the Godfather. He was gone. He was not associated anymore. Yeah.
And you guys all know my love of the Godfather and how that associates with my life.
Right.
I do. Would you like me to share that with our listeners?
Do we do that on this
Think about
podcast?
that one.
We share that for the next one.
We'll do it on.
It's up to you. It affects you way more than it affects us.
It does.
For the sake of possible relationships, I'm going to go ahead and say we'll save that for another one after you give written consent.
We'll table that. We'll table that story.
But I think ultimately, if you look at the total card, like this is a total throwaway penultimate episode or penultimate match of the pay-per-view. Like it was such a shitty match. It was so bad.
It was.
There was one really good spot though. There was one that did not include D'Lo Brown, much to my surprise. The springboard clothesline from the inside of the ring to the outside of the ring by Mosh was fucking ridiculous looking.
Yeah, that was good.
I was just like, oh, holy shit. And then it was downhill from there.
You can't say, and also Road Dogg sold his ass off, taking most of the heat in this match. You can't say the guys didn't try. It just wasn't. It was put there just to break up.
Yeah, it was poorly put together all around.
Just right there. It was wrong spot. I think you put this match, you take a team away from it, and you swap this in the Sable match, and every better results are achieved without doing far less than you did.
Right. Agreed. Yeah.
I gave this match 0.25 ass cheeks out of 5.
Okay. I think that's fair.
Yep.
Honestly.
And now...
So, here we are.
Here we are.
This is like
the
such
grand
a cool
finale.
fucking moment.
The grand finale. Which none of us... Go ahead, Jones. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't know about you guys, but in 1998, when I was a teenager, big Austin fan, big Rock fan, when what happened, it was such a strange emotion because I dug it, but I was so pissed about it. I was so excited that this dude was finally like moving forward,
getting over it,
and like everybody seeing what I saw, like this dude's money, this dude's so good, and then that doesn't happen the way I thought it was going to happen.
How about earlier the broadcast and the telecast? Fucking
I'll just keep drinking.
Lawler and Ross.
Is that the same glass, Jones?
Oh yeah, it was motherfucker. It was filled up. All right,
that's not full. That's half.
It was filled. Okay, like to see you do that.
I have seen him do that.
I don't remember it, but I did it.
Yeah, I bet you don't remember it.
As you were saying, Matt.
Saying, Matt.
But how about these motherfuckers earlier in the broadcast talking about the Montreal fucking screw job? Like briefly for like 15 seconds where Ross says to Lawler, like, what do you think this is? This isn't another Montreal screw job. And then it fucking is another Montreal. It is the St. Louis screw job.
Foreshadow like a motherfucker. That's what they were doing.
But and it's it was such a throwaway thing as I heard that in the pay-per-view, because the first time you don't think, and then even knowing what I know and how this was going to end, it still didn't really connect with me until I watched the finish of that fucking final match.
Because you're like, there's no way they're going to do it 2 years in a row.
Like, why the fuck would they even say that?
Yeah.
But like they fucking did. Again, again, I love to reiterate just how fucking smart they were with this pay-per-view.
Oh my God.
To build this.
It is one of the smart, if not the smartest booked pay-per-view shows I've ever seen, much less in wrestling history, I think, because this match ticks so many goddamn boxes. Because how do you not mention Montreal? It happened a year ago at this point.
Almost a year to the date.
Yes, it was. Not only did it happen a year ago, and was it big for your promotion because it gave you the fucking characters you're in this match with now, and like the whole storyline, but it was big, legitimate talk amongst everything else. It's one of the most popular things you did. So how do you not fucking reference it? And
plus, it was Vince pulling the strings, and if you see how the previous 8 months were, it was Vince pulling the fucking strings. So like you almost expected, but you're like, no, they're not going to do it again. Like
no,
right.
Yeah,
exactly.
We're gonna just kind of tap it on the nose and walk away from it. But Jones, what you said earlier I too was huge into The Rock, right? That Nation run and that 98 Nation run with the new music and they kicked Farouk out was fucking incredible. Right. But you wanted him to be a babyface. You did. Everyone, he was a babyface, and we all wanted him to be a babyface. And it's one of those times that by giving you the exact opposite of what you wanted, they gave you what you wanted, and it fucking worked better than if he had been a babyface. Because if he'd been a babyface, he would have always been behind Austin. But now he's the man, and we were on a goddamn collision course set for the rest of history.
It's wild. You think if you look at every match The Rock was in, with the exception of the small package, but every match where the match went over a minute, he wrestled as a heel in every single match.
He did.
I mean, now to be fair, The Rock always kind of wrestles as a heel for the most part, except for like the last several years of his full-time run, last year or two of his full-time run. But like then, much like Austin wrestles like a heel. He wrestles like a brawling heel. He's never not done that.
Yeah, but he gets over with the fans.
Yeah. Rock was effectively every match doing heel tactics constantly the entire night, and so nothing really changed. The Rock was still The Rock. You know, he never said that he loved the people. He was just the people's champion. Doesn't mean he likes you, you know. But the match itself was great, man. Like,
oh, dude, yeah.
You want to talk about chemistry?
It was so good.
Dude, and more importantly for me, I'm sitting and I'm watching this, and I'm like thinking to myself where this is leading. The feud that these two guys are going to have for a while.
Yeah, in hindsight, like to see it in hindsight, like it was a hell of a run as a feud.
Incredible.
It's just excellent. It's just so much money was generated from this one match. This one review was generated forward.
This match would main event every possible big show they had until WrestleMania. That was the first show it didn't main event. They fucking took this match to the halftime of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, which was a fun match. It was a great match.
This was my favorite match of the night, without question. I think
it's awesome.
Just the fucking layers that they built into this, and of course, you know, it is the longest match of the night by far. Right, I mean it's at least 7 minutes longer than every other match that came for it. But like when they're outside the ring, Mick's got the fucking stairs and he's lifting it up, and he turns and Rock fucking
hits him with the chair,
over and over again.
He drops,
and then he just fucking pummels him on the ground.
He drops with the stairs on top of him, and then Rock just starts fucking going to town with the chair on the stairs. Like, it just so great, right?
It's incredible.
Yeah, it's just incredible. And I want to say here, everybody, because we all fucking grew up with this. We all knew that on a pay-per-view, that at some point in the night, the Spanish announce table was going down.
It was going to get wrecked, no matter what.
And I'm thinking to myself in this pay-per-view, right, we get a shot, they're outside the ring, and I'm like, motherfucking Spanish announce table's still going. Not for long, boys. Not for long. Because Rock gets put on the table, Mick climbs up 2 ropes, fucking elbow drops, and just fucking goes right through. And one of my favorite spots of the night, right? I just love that.
Well, yeah, you got to think before the big twist, right? This match is a fucking banger because
it's back and forth the whole time,
and it's two guys,
and it's hitting on every level.
Absolutely, these are two guys. They're there. The winner is the WWF champion. Neither guy has been WWF champion before. One is a young upstart who has his entire career ahead of him. He's a 3rd-generation wrestler.
Yeah, he has a family legacy.
He does. And on the other hand,
that is like predispositioned for him.
And on the other hand, yes, despite being only 6 or 7 years older than the other guy, his body has been through the fucking meat grinder and has done everything as possible only to be told he'll never be the champion. He'll never be the face of the company, and he's one fucking match away. And so this match tells that story, and they do everything they can. The sweet table spots, the sick chair shots, the sweet ass double arm DDT that Foley hits. He hits it like 6 times this show. This is the best one he hits. I do have a note that JR says on here. This is my favorite JR line of the whole thing. He says, "The Rock went splat on the floor and left a sweaty spot." And I thought that happens a lot at our age.
That's relatable.
Very relatable. We've all gone splat on the floor.
Again, and I love when the match spills over onto the regular announce table, and you just hear JR just screaming for the refs, "Get control of the damn match!"
JR just goes ham, man,
just going off.
And Foley takes a bump that I'd never seen before, and I made a note of it, and I've never seen anyone take. They're brawling on top of the table, and The Rock punches him, and Foley takes the bump flat back off of the side onto the chairs.
Yeah.
Like, Mick, you are less than 6 months after Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
Stop doing that.
Yeah, you got thrown for fucking 40 feet up.
Yeah. Stop taking new bumps.
Yeah.
Take the bump onto those, to the padding on the other side. Would have been great.
Comparatively, though, Hell in a Cell, 2 feet from the table to the chairs. It's not as bad.
But it's still, you know what? And he still find a way to take the roughest version of that.
Oh yeah, he sold that so well. Yeah, he sold that so well.
Oh, but Foley hits a double arm DDT. He goes for Sacco, and he gets it dead center in the ring. But The Rock gets out of it, fires up, and hits a rock bottom, and both men are down. And Jones, would you like to take it from here? What happens right then and there?
Well, the long and short of it is, Rock gets up, he's looking at McMahon, gives the people's eyebrow. Looks like McMahon's maybe giving it back. And we get to see wrestling history, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put you in the mindset of like a teenager, right? You were there. You were all there. You see the sharpshooter.
A
shitty sharpshooter at best.
And
The Rock,
it didn't have to be good.
Of all the few sins that he has committed in the wrestling business, he has a shitty sharpshooter, and he fucking leans into it. God bless his heart. But
not to interject, but Noah and I initially bonded as friends over our love and affinity for fucking Bret the Hitman Hart.
Yeah.
Best there is, best there was, best there ever will be. And to see a shitty sharpshooter a year after the Montreal Screwjob, like, there's like this pit in my stomach, like, God damn it, you motherfucker. Like, why are you even trying that? And then to get the fucking bell without a tap out, I'm like, God damn it, here we go.
Well, so guys, did we ever think maybe that it's a shitty sharpshooter because maybe they were just giving a little bit of a middle finger to Bret?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, because Vince is so bitter.
I mean, Vince doesn't hold a grudge, right?
No, never. Never.
But I mean, I also thought that was part of the reason why it was such a shitty sharpshooter is because of just, let me go ahead and we're going to give you a whole lot right now, but in the process, we're going to, go ahead and give a nice little, because he might be watching. I don't know if he is or if he isn't, but we're going to give a little middle finger here to Bret. The dude who spit in my face a fucking year ago today. And
knocked me out.
And knocked me out.
Here's a nice little fun little thing. At the time of the Montreal Screwjob, the WWF was losing the Monday Night War. And more people left WWF for a few weeks to
go to WCW.
And they largely stayed there until 2 weeks before this, in which a lot of them came crawling back to Vince McMahon. And he's like, "Oh, did you leave me for Bret?" Well, guess what? Fuck you.
That is because they did such a poor execution of Bret's entrance into WCW. Like, they completely fucked his career.
Oh, listen. That's an episode that's going to happen.
In and of itself, like,
I can't wait.
I'm so angry and bitter over that. Like, there's so much potential.
Oh, yes.
And, like, they just fucked it so hard.
It's the biggest it's the biggest ball drop in the history of wrestling. It's Bret Hart post Montreal, and you did shit with him. You made him a referee.
Yeah.
You made him a goddamn referee.
Terrible. And they wonder why they lost the Monday Night Wars.
They knew why they lost.
They know all right.
Yeah. Turner's money only gets you so far if you don't have fucking skill and execution.
So back in 1998, when you watched this happen, you're a kid, whether you were a huge fan of The Rock or not.
Yeah, I mean, we were all
shocked.
teenagers.
You're like, oh. So I hadn't watched this match since that. So to go back and watch it, now with adult eyes, I'm looking at all the details because I know what's going to happen. Dude, the crowd. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh, no. They were pissed.
What the fuck? And that's amazing. That's the reaction you want. To really fuck with people. Because dude was so white hot. He couldn't have been any more over for the position he was in. And then you just flip it. Just like that. And align him with the biggest heel in wrestling.
We're gonna give you the ending you want, just not the way you want it. It's like what Game of Thrones should have done, but just couldn't fucking do. Like, let's just give you an ending that you want, but do it in a way that you're not expecting. And then, fucking watching him embrace the McMahons just
oh my god, it's so terrible.
So wrong.
And
just
Mick is just
wrong.
Turning more and more face as he's so befuddled and so poor guy is so confused.
Yeah. So what I had in my notes was the crowd popped as soon as the bell rang because they didn't realize that he didn't actually tap.
Yep.
He didn't actually submit. And then as soon as Vince and Shane jumped in the ring, like, the crowd got real quiet. And they stayed quiet until The Rock hit Mankind with the belt and started curb stomping him. And then they popped in the opposite direction. They're like, fuck this guy.
Yep.
And I was like, holy shit. To see 20,000 people just fucking turn in the matter of 2 minutes, like, it was crazy.
I would say it is the second best double turn in wrestling history.
We all know what number one is.
Yeah, for completely different reasons, right? The very idea that the match is an amazing match before it ever gets started, right? Then the swerve happens and it takes everything. No, here's the thing. We get the super rare. We're talking about you count on one hand how many times in history this has happened. Trash being thrown into the ring at a WWF event.
Yeah, it never doesn't happen too often.
ECW happen all the fucking time, right? It happens at ECW all the time. They threw the fucking building in the ring. But in WWF, never fucking happened. And it fucking happened here, which tells you how well it worked.
Well, it started happening when Vince and his crew ran out of the building earlier in the night, and they were fucking pelting them with shit like their whole way out. And that was sort of like building up the momentum.
Yep. After the Austin match, you took the words right out of my mouth.
And it's funny because, like, watching it back on Peacock, because, like, the middle fingers are blurred and all that shit. But, like, as soon as that first, like, beer cup hits the ring, like, there's a close-up of The Rock saying, fuck you.
The Rock had no chill. He was such a heel, man. He was such a fucking heel.
Like, he immediately went from, I love the people, to fuck you people. Like, that's what it was.
The corporate champion, man.
The corporate champion.
And you fucking love to hate it. Like, that's the thing.
And immediately at that point, and the other thing to add into why it was so perfect is what I loved about it was, so they embrace, right? But you don't have Foley rolling around and selling it from the aisleway. He's standing in the ring.
He's standing there like, I don't know what's happening. Like, Dad, tell me what's happening.
Why, Dad? Why'd you do this? And then,
well, how about how he walks up and grabs the microphone afterwards and goes, I didn't get pinned. And I didn't tap.
Yeah.
Didn't tap. Like, he just and Mick plays that so well. As at that point, he is all of us.
He's the baby face.
Yeah. He's the audience now, expressing what we're all thinking that we wish we would have said a year ago. Just I think just even adds to it, right?
Yeah. Here's a fun little fact to add into that. Mick Foley is one of the wrestlers that left after the Montreal Screwjob and took a week off before he came back because he was so pissed about it. It's a nice little heat. But in that moment, now the Attitude Era is in full swing. The Rock is the heel corporate champion. Mick Foley is on the path to becoming the most endearing babyface.
Yeah, fucking Mankind, the guy who fucking chokes guys with a fucking sock, is all of a sudden like the face,
people's hero,
the face of the good guys.
So good.
There is one part that I think we need to acknowledge, and it's a part of the match, or the match was over, that I totally forgot about. I don't know how it was gone, but it was the moment that The Rock arrived. When Austin came back out, the crowd popped, and they had this stare down, and you just go, "Oh shit! This is where we're going."
And the best part of that was the best part of that was, so Austin comes out from behind the fucking skull, and then there's no music. Like, there's no breaking glass, but the entire crowd just fucking goes off.
Oh, they knew
like,
they were
as soon as he came out, and he came out real slow, and he stopped, and he like hesitated for a second, and then he just fucking took off and went straight to the ring.
And now, as a heel, and now this is like Wrestling 101, right? Like, as a heel, your job is to sell things in a specific way, just like as a face, right? But the Rock could have sold that moment in a totally different way, just took a powder and got out of the ring. Chicken shit heel, gone. It would have been fine. It would have made sense. But he didn't. He stood there, said, "Come on, motherfucker.
Let's do it.
I hate you. I fucking
That's exactly
hate
right.
You. Yeah. They hate each other. They fucking had this shit back in the Intercontinental days. This feud is real." You know what I mean?
I mean,
it's the beauty of it.
It's hands down probably one of the greatest feuds in all of wrestling history.
Ever.
And this is like this is the part where it like takes it to the next level.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I said The Rock, that moment, The Rock, but Austin leveled The Rock up when that happened. He's you can't, but now you're with me here.
Yeah.
Come on, let's go to WrestleMania.
Perfect. Think about the consequence of this, though. We're talking about this being The Rock's first WWF title win, and the thing that takes him from a upper mid-card wrestler to a main event wrestler. But this is the thing that launches the fucking Rock, Dwayne Johnson, and all of the shit that has happened in the last 25 years.
And that's some shit.
Is because of this fucking moment where it worked. If it had fallen flat and people treated it like... And here's another nice little thing. The Rock fucking debuted for the company 2 years earlier than this. His first fucking match at Survivor Series 96.
Yeah. Wait, so no, what you're saying is that everything that's happened in the last 21 years is because of this moment. So you're saying that Vin Diesel's feud with The Rock would not have been made possible if Stone Cold Steve Austin did not walk out from behind that skull, and then Rock was like, "Fucking come on, motherfucker!" Like that's what we're talking about here.
Quite possibly.
We just established a precedent of bald guys that are unnecessarily aggressive coming at The Rock, and The Rock's like, "Fuck you."
This is pretty much Fast and Furious 10 and 11. I think that we just kind of laid out.
Oh my god, how fucking! I'd actually see a Fast and Furious movie if the Fast and Furious 10 was just Survivor Series 98. That's all.
Fast and Furious 10, a deadly game.
A deadly game.
So,
but if you think about where The Rock was then, and then you think about Red Notice, which came out on Netflix last week with The Rock. It had 150 million streams in the first 2 days, which is the highest streamed movie ever. And would that have been the same if The Rock would not have gone on that trajectory he went on because of when he shifted everything on that fateful night 23 years ago
in St. Louis?
Well, and think about this too. Another thing that I kind of really noticed from the pay-per-view is that they didn't have the big fucking jumbotron then. That was a 21,000 people in that arena. If you have that fucking jumbotron up there, 15,000 maybe at best.
Yeah, it cuts off a whole like section of the arena. They just had that entrance ramp, which was on ground level. With the skull and like the archways above it. Yeah, like that was it.
The skull was the fucking Zamboni entrance, basically, with that thing put over it. And you had that organic reaction of the people realizing Stone Cold was coming out because the people noticed it a small section before everybody started to notice it.
Yeah,
and you just had that groundswell too. That just
it's like the wave, right?
Yeah.
It's like the wave.
Fuck yeah. Noah, can I take a page out of your book, please?
Yeah.
Noah, wait. Hey, Wave. So everybody, real quick, go to sporting events, get everybody's having a good time. Brought the kids. We got popcorn and everything. 3 motherfuckers 4 sections away from you decide, I got a great idea. Let's all stand up and throw our hands in the air and then stand down and then see if other people are going to fucking do it too. So a little something that they like to call the wave. Well, hey, Wave, guess what? Fuck you.
Spoiler alert. Dave does not like the wave.
Not a fan. Not a fan.
One of my favorite. Go ahead.
No, please.
One of my favorite moments about their celebration in the ring was how hard it was for fucking Vince to put the belt around The Rock's waist.
Oh my god, it was so awkward. He just couldn't do it. It just didn't happen.
At one point he was just holding it in place, like just keep talking. I'll just hold it here for now. And then he's like, The Rock's like, fuck you, I'm putting it over my shoulder.
That was easily the first time that Vince realized what The Rock was cooking. He understood. He was there.
So I think ultimately, I think we can all agree this was just an excellent pay-per-view all around.
For sure.
So, favorite matches. So, I already mentioned my favorite match was definitely X-Pac and Regal. I just thought they tore the house down.
Same.
What about you guys?
Because you're a man's man.
I'm a man's man.
I think the best match was the main event, but I think my favorite match was definitely Regal and X-Pac. I think it was a clinic. And how do you get your shit in and over with adding, not subtracting to that goddamn thing, other than possibly subtracting to Sean Waltman's collarbone at some point in the match.
When my wife was watching the first half of the pay-per-view with me before she completely lost interest and started talking shit on us, but she was like, he's like, isn't that the bald guy who was in the China documentary who was high on like all the time? And I was like, yeah, that's X-Pac.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Like, yes, that's accurate. It's weird what she remembers and what she processes. It's
amazing that your wife knows him best from One Night in China.
Yeah.
Than the entirety of the rest of his career.
Not the porn. There was a documentary.
Technically, isn't that a documentary, though?
I don't know. Maybe.
Isn't amateur porn just another version of a documentary? You just document it. You be talking.
But my favorite match was Austin and Mankind. That was the highlight for me.
What about you, Mac?
It's so much of the just Mick Foley of this pay-per-view. This pay-per-view does not go if it's not for Mick Foley. So between those two matches, I keep going back and forth on it. I got to give the last match of the night the edge over the Mankind Austin, just because they fucking pull out all the stops in that match. I think the spots outside the ring, like you mentioned, him taking that bump where he just goes off the table onto the chairs and down, which looked awkward as fuck when it happens. Him getting, as I always enjoy, the Spanish announce table getting destroyed. Him taking that drop off the top rope onto that. Just everything that kind of went through that match. I loved that final match between those two. And you see the birth of their chemistry together.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, this pay-per-view like triggered so many feuds. So you think about The Rock and Mankind, which was like the first feud, like right after this event. If you think about The Rock and Austin long term, if you think about how it helped elevate the Austin and McMahon feud overall, but like without Mankind, like Mick Foley took so much shit from start to finish in this event. And if you think about everything leading up to that, including Hell in a Cell when he got fucking tossed over the fucking cage here in Pittsburgh. But like he took chairs, he took stairs, he took fucking through tables, he took rock bottoms, he got Stone Cold Stunner at the very end of the event for no reason.
No fucking reason.
He got curb stomped. He got beat the shit out of, and he just shows up like day after day. And for a guy to be able to take that and still sell it, like that's super fucking impressive. Like he's the MVP of the event in my mind.
100% MVP of the event for me.
He absolutely is. And I don't think you could put any other wrestler.
No other guy could sell it the way he sold it.
No other guy could have done this pay-per-view what it needed to do and accomplish what it needed to accomplish if it's not him.
Yeah, except for maybe Cactus Jack or
Dude Love, maybe.
Dude Love. Yeah. A little bit.
One of those guys could probably pull it off.
Definitely Dude Love.
I have a question for you guys. I have a question.
Yeah.
So yeah, our favorite match. Who's the MVP? Sure, but I have a question. Who had a bigger night? Not so much. Just think about it for a second. Don't answer right away. Who had a bigger night? The Rock, Mick Foley, or Shane McMahon? Who had a bigger night?
Earlier in this podcast, you guys asked who are the three best, regular clothed wrestlers, street clothes wrestlers. Fucking Shane McMahon. Let me go ahead and put him there as my third. I give my love for the Brooklyn Brawler. Obviously, we would try to do John Cena, but of course we can't see him.
No.
But fucking Shane O'Mac. The greatest non-wrestling wrestler of all time fucking shows up in a t-shirt and warm-up
baseball
pants.
Baseball jersey. That's his go-to. Yeah,
the baseball jersey and fucking and just snap pants, right? Warm-up pants. And just can fucking, at all these years just goes.
So Shane, your answer?
Shane is my answer. You can never underestimate, even though all the years that he was gone, the contribution of Shane, the birth of Shane O'Mac, right? Shane McMahon, and what that's done for wrestling over the years. I don't think you can undersell the importance of that because, I think with all the other characters and all the other wrestlers and everything else that they go on, had accomplished to this point, will go on to accomplish. This pay-per-view sets that, but nobody was created like Shane McMahon was. So yeah, Shane's my answer to that one.
All right, Mr. Brown.
Oh, I'm gonna have to say that I'm gonna say Mick Foley because I think when you put of those three, it was great that Shane arrived. But Shane's greatest moments were ahead of him. And making his name as being Shane McMahon, the crazy motherfucker, was ahead of him. And I think The Rock would have gotten to the heights that he would have without this show, doing it a different time in a different way. But wrestling 4 times in a night, taking all the shit he did, going into it as a pathetic heel, and coming out of it like number 2 babyface, the most relatable person in the company, and he would never come back down. As a matter of fact, 6 weeks after this, Mick Foley becomes WWF champion. Like it's a sentence that nobody would have seen coming 6 weeks after this because they turned him babyface. So I mean, if really between Shane McMahon, The Rock, and Mick Foley, God, putting money on any of those three is a winning proposition, right? But I think this night did more for Mick Foley than it did for anybody else.
Well, can I also just interject that the very first match of the night he had to wrestle the fucking incomparable, the immortal, the legendary fucking Duane Gill.
The most impressive thing about Duane Gill was that he made it to the ring, but his dick was still dragging 15 yards behind him because that's how impressive.
It's actually the opposite. See,
that's fuzzy math. That's pretty far.
I go the other way around. Duane Gill entered the arena, but his dick had already been there for 4 minutes.
Oh,
okay. All right, Jeff, how about yourself, man? What do you think?
While I respect both of my friends here, Dave and Noah, but fuck you both. It's the fucking Rock. Without a doubt, it's the fucking Rock. Because although he was getting over with the people, he didn't really get over until this point. Mm-hmm. And at that point, and the few months to year following, like, people love to fucking hate The Rock because he's so fucking good at what he does. And to see him elevate from that point forward, and the feuds that he creates forward, and what he does for the industry moving forward, and what he's done with his career since, I think without a doubt, like, this was The Rock's defining moment in terms of pivoting his career, getting out of the shadow of his dad and his grandfather and everything else of his fucking legacy that he came from, and defining himself as The Rock and not Rocky Maivia or Dwayne Johnson or anything else. He's the fucking Rock, and that's why.
Now, Jones, before I toss it to you to answer, I just want to point out to everybody, Shane McMahon would remain a heel for about 2 more years. Foley would be a babyface for almost the entirety of the rest of his career. The Rock turned babyface 7 months after this. He was a good guy again 7 months after this because he was so popular as a heel that they're like, fuck it. And Austin taking time off, and they were going in places after this. So just let you know that, like, the Rock could not be stopped. Just kind of reiterate that train left the station on this day and has not stopped.
I'm pretty sure it's gonna The Rock's gonna probably outlive us all. Honestly,
he's gonna be president. So we
most likely he's going to be some political position. I'm sure of that.
You know who's not going to be president? Fucking Duane Gill.
No,
might be president of the Rotary Club. Duane Gill's president of a local multi-level marketing. Duane Gill has an exciting investment.
He's got a prince in fucking Algeria. His uncle lives there. And he's got a great pyramid scheme that you could sign up for. Also, your car warranty has expired, and you might want to buy it from Duane Gill.
God.
Listen, if Duane Gill fucking calls me tomorrow and says, Dave, I heard that your car's extended warranty is expired. Are you interested in extending that? Fucking yes.
You answer.
Here's all my money, Duane Gill.
You answer, Duane Gill, I'm already extended right now. I fucking move on it.
I
don't have any money, but my dick's super hard.
I am extended and protected, Duane. Let's go.
So, to answer this question,
who's your MVP?
To answer the question, goddammit. Mick Foley, Shane, The Rock. Before the show started, I wasn't even thinking about Shane McMahon in the conversation until I saw what happened, and I'm like, well, fuck, man, Shane O'Mac, like you said, Noah, was born this night. But I still have to give a nod. I think The Rock had the biggest night, and only because if you look at what like you said, a significantly short amount of time that he was full-time wrestling on a main roster situation, to go from being Rocky Maivia to The Rock, Johnson, Rocky Maivia, The Rock, Nation Domination, go through the motions, and he becomes The Rock that night. For him to go from being about as over a babyface, organically, not because they were trying, not because they wanted him to be, but because he was just fucking cool, to becoming the number one hated guy in the company in about 17 minutes. It's pretty fucking cool. And yes, the trajectory, maybe he would have hit it anyhow, and he probably would have. But if he became heavyweight champion as face, I don't know if it would have gone the same way. Because him turning babyface again, the next year was big money.
Oh yeah,
Rock in '99 was money because there was no Austin. he was number one, you know.
He was.
But I think in grand scheme, I think The Rock had the biggest night, followed by Mick Foley for fucking sure. 1A, 1B.
And then Duane Gill.
I want to pause here for a second. So the last episode that I was on, we were talking about Linkin Park, and Jones and I were on the same page the whole time. From that point until today, when I was back on the show, Jones has just been shitting on everything and combating Noah the whole time.
Every time.
And now that I'm back on the show, like, we're back on the same page. And it's fucking awesome. It's great.
I did notice in previous episodes, hungover Herb Jones is fucking mean to me.
I was not mean to you.
I don't think it's like, you're a fucking liar.
Fuck you, Noah.
I'm like, Jesus Christ. What the fuck?
So I'm just saying, it's really good to be back.
This was I was really worried about a potential Golden Globe situation we had here.
Oh my god,
Man.
You know, Dave, you and I can join each other on the ostracized way. Is this how you feel normally in conversations, Dave, when someone doesn't agree with you?
You know, it's one of those things where I got to witness the Noah and Dr. Jones face off first.
it was no face off,
and just like fucking John Travolta and Nick Cage circa 1997 face off level intensity.
Face off.
And just sitting there with like a bag of popcorn, just watching the fucking two of them yell at each other and disagree. It was great.
Well, that movie fucking sucks, man.
Bad Boys 2. It's trash.
It's a shit movie. I'm sorry.
It's not great.
Are we just gonna mention Bad Boys 2 in every fucking episode from now on?
Maybe until we cover Bad Boys 2.
Then we cover Bad Boys 2 and then we don't talk about it at all.
Let's just get it out of the way. Next week, Bad Boys 2.
Us talking about Bad Boys 2 every fucking week is getting more play from just us talking about it than it ever got normally from regular fucking consumers. Let's just be honest here. Speaking of next week,
That's a nice
let's transition away from that shit movie to something far more interesting. Next week, we're going to talk about one of the greatest gaming franchise, one of the greatest games of all time, period. Outside of just being a great franchise, Halo Combat Evolved. And I'm very excited about this.
It's an exciting time for Halo. It's the 20th anniversary of the original Halo.
It is.
Halo Infinite multiplayer just came out. They just dropped a trailer for the Halo show that's going to be on Paramount Plus.
Huge.
So there's a lot of hype around Halo right now. So it's a very timely topic. And, you know, going back, I remember going to Noah's mom's house. I don't know if Noah was there, but his mom was there. Right, Dave? Right, Dave?
Why was you there? That's what I mean.
No, we would go there and we would play multiplayer on Halo. We would bring multiple systems over there and we would hook all the TVs together and we would sit on the fucking floor and play Halo. And it was fucking awesome.
Like fucking degenerates. I love it.
It was so good.
See that
it was so good.
See, that's what you guys did. I was busy in the other room in a kiddie pool full of KY jelly. Just kind of lounging, waiting for Jackie to come back.
Yeah,
so.
The only one who was there was fucking Piggy.
Yeah, shout out to Piggy.
I'm gonna drink Piggy.
We would shame him so bad playing Halo that he would just join you in the fucking kiddie pool full of lube or whatever you were doing.
You know what's fucking amazing about that is for the one uninitiated listener, we have a friend that we shamed him so bad while playing Halo that we just started calling him Piggy and named his character that in Halo Piggy, and he sucks so bad at Halo that he just started leaning into Piggy, and 20 years later, motherfucker is Piggy, and we love him, and we appreciate it.
Yeah. Now he's the thinnest of all of our friends, but we still call him that.
Right. You got to overcome it.
That's right. You gotta embrace it, right?
So following Halo.
But Halo is exciting.
Yeah, that's going to drop November 30th. I'm looking really forward to digging into that. we were then going to transition to something a little different for us. We're going to kind of have like more of a themed month of December. Holidays are coming. Spending time with your loved ones. So we're going to record an episode about one of my favorite holiday movies of all time, A Christmas Story. I'm looking very forward to that.
So good.
That'll drop on the 7th of December, I believe.
Matt?
Real quick. Fuck that movie.
What?
Right.
What? Fuck you, Dave. Fuck you.
Matt, I also think fuck that movie.
We're gonna have a fun conversation.
Dave, I'm gonna put you in the backseat of my car, whether you like it or not. Maybe the trunk, depending on the power of the chloroform that I have. But the Christmas Story house is 2 hours from Pittsburgh, and we're gonna fucking go there. And you're going to experience it in real life. Yeah, and then I'm going to fucking leave you there because fuck you.
Listen, let me save you, Jeff. Let me save you the tolls. Let me save you the tolls and gas. There's a dude down the street who puts the leg lamp in his fucking window. We'll just pretend.
Yeah, that's not the real thing.
Oh my God.
You guys want to have your Golden Globes conversation?
Fragile.
You guys want to have your Golden Globes conversation? That's going to be us talking about that movie. That's
I don't know.
That's where it's really going to fucking
like
come out.
I don't know how you don't like that movie, Dave.
For way too long to not know you didn't like it.
God damn it!
I also don't like that movie, but following up though, while we're rewatching it and talking about it, because after that we're going to do my favorite Christmas movie, which is the 1988 classic Scrooge, starring Bill Murray. And the classic retelling.
Not one of my favorite movies of all time, but a good movie.
And it's fun. So it's my favorite Christmas movie. And then after that, ladies and gentlemen, we will settle right here on the show the age-old debate. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Because we're going to fucking talk about Nakatomi Tower and all the other shit inside. Welcome to the party, pal. It's Die Hard. Right after that. And then last episode.
Strap on your helmets, ladies and gentlemen. Fucking pad up, because I'm going to go to fucking war. I'm going to go to fucking war on you when it comes to Die Hard being a Christmas movie.
Die Hard being a Christmas movie?
Because it absolutely fucking is. I am ready for this one, boys.
We'll save it for the episode.
Ready for this one, boys.
And we're going to round out December, round out 2021 with a slightly different concept. We're going to merge a couple ideas together, a little wild card, if you will. It's going to be our favorite movie soundtracks episode. It's going to be a little different. I don't know how it's going to play out.
Crossover.
So just Mortal Kombat again. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah. And then you know what? I'm going to call it out. I'm going to make an announcement right now, off script. But we've decided what the very first episode of 2022 is going to be. And we're going to announce it right here, right now, because this is our last wrestling episode for the year, the one we just discussed, right here and now.
Right.
But January in 2022 is going to bring it back, because our first episode of 2022 will drop on January 4th, 2022. And an interesting thing that happened on January 4th was the very short-lived relaunching of the Monday Night Wars between WWE and TNA.
Yeah.
As they went head-to-head, one side had Hulk Hogan, Eric Bischoff, Rob Van Dam, and many more's debuts on TNA Monday Night Impact. And on the other side was the fucking reconciliation between Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. Because it's the year anniversary of it. So we got a lot going on. We had a lot going on here today, guys. Thank you all for. I don't know what to do. We talked about a good wrestling show today. What the fuck?
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
So
most of it,
except the Outlaws match,
except for Dave.
Well, I mean, naturally. So, gentlemen, we've talked an awful lot about this pay-per-view. And no, at the beginning of the show, you indicated that there were how many Hall of Famers in this?
19
pay-per-view?
Hall of Famers in this show.
Is that including the pre-show?
Does not include Sunday Night Heat.
So everybody, just to give you an idea as to what this fucking roster was bringing to you, if I may, real quick here.
Please.
The dark match was too much with Brian Christopher and Scott Taylor against the Hardy Boys. The fucking dark match was Matt and Jeff Hardy. All right. And then on fucking Sunday Night Heat, we've got Legion of Doom doing a match against the Job Squad. You got Val Venus.
Which was Al Snow. Al Snow wrestled in that match before he wrestled his other matches.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Against the Road Warriors.
I love it.
Then you've got Val Venus against Tiger Ali Singh, whichever. But then you also have Gangrel against Steve Blackman. And just with Gangrel, ladies and gentlemen, we got some fresh-faced, two fucking Castlevania-looking motherfuckers.
Edge and Christian.
Edge and Christian.
Brood, baby. Give me that Brood all day.
Brood.
Talk about theme songs that kicked ass.
You extend this show for those that were in attendance that showed up when the fucking doors opened. You can go ahead and add in Jeff and Matt Hardy, LOD, Edge and Christian. You're tossing another 6 Hall of Famers into this fucking conversation. That's what WWF was doing in 1998. That's what
a time to be alive and be a wrestling fan.
What a fucking time, man.
What a time. You know what?
It's crazy.
What a fucking time we had today, guys.
That's right.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you guys for joining us. And Jeff, thank you for coming and hanging out with us, man.
Oh, thanks for having me back. It was like Nothing Good, Return of Jafar, but like not the shitty straight to VHS version of Aladdin, but like let's talk shit on wrestling for a few hours.
Oh, man.
Like, that's what it was like.
Noah,
the fucking art for this
You're fucking welcome. And I'm glad to be back.
And Herb, thank you. Herb, thank you for leaving the basement door slightly unlocked so I could escape from Noah's sex dungeon.
That's what friends are for, man.
I really appreciate it. I will eventually start walking normal again. I just don't quite know when that's going to happen. And I'm also like 5 weeks late. I don't know what that means.
Oh, God.
Let some shit happen in that dungeon.
I was originally going to say they make a cream for that, but no, they don't.
Apparently, they made too much cream for that.
That's how Noah sold me on the concept in the first place.
Well, on that note, gentlemen,
here we are.
Yeah,
guys. Thank you so much for being a part of the show, and for our singular Peruvian listeners left here and Irish now, welcome to the fold and goodbye, because you're never going to come back. But
nope.
If you do, come on, check us out on social media. We're on Nothing Good Pod on Twitter. We've got Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and you can check us out wherever you're hearing this. Keep on checking us out, and we'll see everybody. We'll see everybody next week for Halo. Holy shit.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Time.
Cheers.
That's right.
Cheers to Halo. Shit.
Cheers, everybody. Hey, happy Thanksgiving too, right?
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Couple days away here. Happy Thanksgiving.
For everyone except Doc, because he doesn't like turkey or Bad Boys 2.
That's right. God damn it. Movie sucks.
Nothing good. Fuck nothing good.
Nothing fucking good.